Some people say that the Betelgeuse is a knife hanging on the head of man. It may explode at any time. At that time, a wave of hot radiation and burning matter will wash away the Milky Way. The life on the Earth may be destroyed. It sounds terrible, doesn't it? But science tells us that this statement is right and wrong. The Betelgeuse may indeed explode at any time, but it will not destroy us, but will bring us the most spectacular fireworks show in our lifetime. What's more, astronomers have recently discovered a secret that has been hidden for more than 100 years. A star has penetrated into its atmosphere. Before talking about this secret, let's get to know the Betelgeuse first. If the weather is good tonight, you can go out and look for the Orion constellation. Do you see the star in the shape of a hunter? There is a particularly red and sparkling star on its left shoulder. That is the Betelgeuse. The 10th star in the night sky is about 650 light-years away from us. 650 light-years sounds far away, but in terms of cosmic scale, it is already at our doorstep. It is the closest star to us. It is also one of the largest stars we can see with the naked eye. But the word big is not enough to describe the Betelgeuse. Let me give you an example. If you put the Betelgeuse in the position of the Sun, what will happen? The Mercury is swallowed up. The Venus is swallowed up. The Earth is swallowed up. The Mars is also swallowed up. Because the radius of the Betelgeuse is nearly 900 times that of the Sun, its edge will always extend beyond the orbit of Mars. The entire inner solar system disappears in the belly of this star. But the strangest thing is that such a large star has only 10 times the mass of the Sun. You can figure it out. Its volume is hundreds of millions of times that of the Sun, but its mass is only 10 times that of the Sun. Its density is thinner than the air on Earth. Instead of saying that the embroidery temple is a star, it is a group of luminous gas that is tightly clung together by its own weak gravity. Because of this, the Betelgeuse can hardly stop its own substance to escape into space. Its surface is like a pot of boiling water. The huge flow unit keeps rolling. The gas is like a furious fountain. This star has expanded to its limit. It can't stand it anymore. What does it mean that a star expands like this? It means that it is about to die. And there is only one way for a large-mass star, like the Betelgeuse, to die. A supernova explodes. To understand how terrible a supernova is, we have to figure out how a star lives. You can imagine a star as a universal pressure cooker. At its core, the extrusion of gravity produces extreme high temperature and high pressure. At this point, the atoms are separated and regrouped. The hydrogen becomes the carbon. The carbon becomes the carbon. The carbon becomes the oxygen. All the way down, the carbon becomes the iron. Every supernova releases energy. This energy produces external pressure to resist the extrusion of gravity. As long as the supernova continues, the star can maintain balance. But the iron is a dead end. The iron can no longer be turned into a heavier element. At least, it won't release energy. When the core of the supernova turns into iron, the supernova stops. Without external pressure, the gravity begins to squeeze everything. The whole star shrinks in less than a second. Then, the rebound generated by the shrinkage forms a shock wave. At a speed of 6%, it spreads out and blows up all the outer material of the star. This is the supernova explosion. How violent! The energy released is about 10 to the power of 45 quarks. This number is too big. You have no idea. In other words, the brightness of a supernova explosion is 500 billion times that of the Sun. It can even exceed the entire galaxy. So here's the question. Will such an explosion destroy the Earth? The answer depends on the distance. Scientists believe that the death zone of a supernova is about 25 light-years away. In this range, high-intensity gamma rays will tear up the ozone layer, causing large-scale radiation poisoning and species extinction. But beyond this distance, the supernova's power will decrease rapidly. The supernova is 650 light-years away and far beyond the death zone. When it explodes, the impact wave reaches the Earth and is smaller than the solar wind. The protective cover blown out by the solar wind is enough to resist it, so the supernova explosion will not destroy the Earth. But that doesn't mean we can't feel anything. Imagine that picture. One night, you look up and look at the Orion. Suddenly, the Orion's left shoulder is lit up. It's not an ordinary light. It's like a spotlight that blinds you to close your eyes. The brightness after the explosion may be equivalent to a full moon, or even brighter. You can see it in the daytime. This light will last for weeks, or even months, and then slowly fade away. The Orion has lost its left shoulder, and you will be the first in human history to witness the supernova explosion in the Milky Way. Supernovae in the Milky Way are very rare. There are only 2 or 3 in a century. The last time humans recorded a supernova in the Milky Way was in 1604, the Kepler supernova. It's been over 400 years. We've been waiting. But the question is, when will the Orion explode? To be honest, no one knows. Astronomy is very fast. It could be tomorrow. It could be 100,000 years later. In the history of the universe of 13.8 billion years, 100,000 years is a blink of an eye. But there are some signs that can help us judge. The Orion has a strange habit. Its brightness changes periodically. It gets brighter and darker. There are 2 cycles of this change. One is about 400 days. The other is 6 years. Astronomers have been trying to figure out what these cycles mean. Is it the pulse of the star? Is it the rolling of the surface gas? Or is something else disturbing it? Then, something big happened in 2019. In December 2019, the Orion suddenly darkened. It was not just a normal change. It was 1/3 of the brightness that fell directly to the normal level. Telescopes around the world all aimed at it. Social media blew up. Is this temporary bomb finally going to explode? 4 months later, the Orion regained its normal brightness. It was a false alarm. The data from the Hubble Space Telescope revealed the truth. The Orion did not really darken, but it sprayed a cloud of dust. In September 2019, the Hubble Space Telescope observed a hot substance spraying out from the surface of the Orion. These substances expanded and cooled in space to form a cloud of dust. In December, this cloud of dust just drifted between us and the Orion and covered our eyes. The Orion did not die. It just spat. But this spat unexpectedly revealed a secret that has been hidden for more than 100 years. For more than a century, astronomers have been suspecting that the Orion is not a star, because every 400 days and 6 years, it will change color regularly. The 400-day cycle is easier to understand. That is the heart of the Orion. Its internal cycle expansion and contraction is like a huge, slow-moving heart. But what is the cycle of 6 years? It's like something is circling it in a cycle. Every 6 years, when it circles above our eyes, it is blocked. So some people suspect that the Orion may have a half-star, but to prove that the Orion has a half-star, it is very difficult. Because the Orion is too big, too bright, any star hidden next to it will be completely obscured by its light. It's like standing next to the sun and looking for a candle. How do you find it? In 2024, 2 independent research teams analyzed observational data for decades. and found that the location of the Orion in the sky has a small cycle-like swing. It's like it's being pulled to one side and then pulled to the other side. The cycle of this swing is exactly 2,170 days. It's exactly the same as the cycle of its darkening. They concluded that the Orion does have a half-star, but the problem is no one can take a picture of it. Hubble Space Telescope tried, but failed. Chandler X-ray Telescope tried, but also failed. All the papers were pessimistic that this half-star may never be taken directly. Then, in July 2025, an astrophysicist from Hawaii said, "We got it." This picture was taken by the Gemini North Observatory at the top of Mount Monaco, Hawaii. This telescope is 8.1 meters in diameter. But the real secret weapon is a device called alopec. In Hawaiian, it means fox. It uses a technology called umbrella imaging. Instead of taking a long exposure photo, it takes thousands of extremely short exposure photos and then puts them together by algorithm. In this way, it can eliminate the interference of Earth's atmosphere and get a very high resolution. The research team chose to observe at the farthest distance from the Orion. That's when they're most likely to be seen separately. Sure enough, next to the orange light cloud of the Orion, they found a very faint blue light spot. This half-star is temporarily named Sivarha. In Arabic, it means his bracelet. It is 6 stars darker than the Orion, which is more than 200 times darker. Its quality is about 1.5 times that of the Sun. It may be a young star that has not yet been completely ignited. The core has not yet begun to change. But the most shocking thing is its location. Sivarha is only 4 astronomical units away from the Orion. What does it mean? The distance from the Sun to the Jupiter is 5 astronomical units. That is to say, this half-star is closer to Jupiter than the Sun. But the radius of the Orion has extended beyond the orbit of Mars by about 4 astronomical units. This means that Sivarha is circling in the outer atmosphere of the Orion. It's not next to the Orion, but in the belly of the Orion. No wonder all the telescope couldn't find it before. It was completely covered by the outer cover of the Orion, and its gravity would disrupt the atmosphere of the Orion once every 6 years, causing the brightness cycle of the Orion to change. The mystery that has troubled astronomers for 100 years finally has an answer. But the ending of this story is not good. Astronomers calculated the orbit of Sivarha and found that it was slowly approaching the Orion. Under the influence of gravitational force, it would get closer and closer. In the end, it was devoured by the Orion in about 10,000 years. Of course, if the Orion had exploded before that, Sivarha's fate would be even worse. It was too close to the Orion, completely within the radius of a superstar. At that time, it was either torn into pieces by the shock wave or turned into a mass of particles at high temperature. In any case, Sivarha could not survive. Interestingly, Sivarha and Orion may have been born at the same time and formed in the same star cloud about 10 million years ago. But because of the big difference in quality, their fates were completely different. Orion had come to the end of his life, while Sivarha had not even been born. Its core had not yet begun to mutate. One was about to die, while the other had not yet come to life. That was the end of the dark humor of the universe. So, after all this, when will Sivarha explode? It may be tomorrow, it may be 10,000 years later, or it may be 100,000 years later. But one thing is certain. The little guy next to him is being devoured slowly. When it finally explodes, it will be the most spectacular universe event. A star, brighter than the full moon, will appear in the sky. The left shoulder of the Orion will disappear forever, and the unlucky embroidered buddy will be blown to pieces at the first time. And we are just outside the safe distance, waiting to see the biggest